I originally planned to film a full year flip through of my Traveler's Notebook Vertical Weekly for 2025. But when I sat down to film, I realized that I'm just really not in the mood to reminisce right now. Things are really heavy right now in the world. And a big part of the work that I do is that I support other people through stress and uncertainty and anxiety. And lately I've noticed that I'm carrying a lot of that too. So instead of looking back through old pages and highlights of 2025, I think I need something that helps me decompress a little. Ever since 2020, I've tended to avoid the news because I tend to absorb it pretty deeply. And most of what we see is negative. Something that I like to do when I'm feeling overwhelmed is I like to, see what other people are saying about it, or try to better understand or contextualize how I'm feeling. I did do some reading this week, and unsurprisingly, there's quite a lot of research that shows that constant exposure to negative news can affect our mood, increase anxiety, and even shift how we see the world and other people. I used to compartmentalize it a lot and just not really engage in social media or the news, but lately it's just been really hard to look away. A lot of important things are happening, and it really doesn't feel right to completely tune it out. So I haven't been, but at the same time, doom scrolling has definitely caught up to me. There's been a lot of moments where I'm picking up my phone to just check something, and then suddenly 40 minutes will go by and I'll just feel worse compared to when I started. And that's actually a big reason why I left Instagram a few years ago, and I have come back on it, and I wasn't engaging with it at the same intensity that I was before, but I am noticing that I'm creeping up. And by the way, when I talk about doom scrolling, what I'm talking about is compulsively consuming negative news. And again, unsurprisingly, studies have linked it with higher levels of anxiety, depression, and existential heaviness. So this really isn't about looking away or pretending that things aren't happening. I think where my mind is at right now is I'm just thinking about pacing and how one can maybe pace themselves with the rate at which everything is going on, because it's not really sustainable to take action if we're completely burnt out or overwhelmed. And just speaking from my own experience, I've learned the hard way that when I get too overwhelmed, I don't just feel anxious, I start to struggle with just functioning on our daily basis, just doing really basic everyday things. My home gets really messy. I have a giant pile of laundry that I need to fold. All of my energy goes towards focusing on work, supporting people around me. But outside of that, just small tasks feel completely impossible right now. And I know that this is a sign that my nervous system is overloaded. And as someone who is in a helping profession who works with a variety of clients, including refugees, I know that it is crucial that I try my best to take care of myself so that I can really take care of others. So yeah, lately I've just been noticing these changes, noticing this feeling of overwhelmed, and telling myself that I need to slow down and build that resilience to counter my growing anxiety. So honestly, this is kind of where my stationery has really helped me. I've been journaling a ton, and I've been mostly journaling in my stream of consciousness morning pages. It's the place that is just for me and nobody sees it. And it helps me process how I'm feeling so that I can try to move on with my day. So I have been making more of an effort to make sure that I carve out some time in the morning to do that journaling. And sometimes it can feel like an indulgence to make that time to journal. So I've been thinking about, if I don't have time to do long form journaling, is there an opportunity for me to do some micro journaling? And I've actually been doing that in my planner, for better or for worse. So as an example, one of the things that kind of helps me maybe make sense of what's going on is I like to look at what others have said about what I've been doing or engaging in. If I've been kind of engaging in behaviors that I know are not helpful for me, I like to look into reading about what others are saying, and then also learning about what has been maybe found to be helpful for countering things such as doom scrolling. But I've also been doing some micro journaling in my in my Midori Hibino. So this is what I might do if I don't really have time, or I don't feel like I have time to do any like bigger, longer form journaling. I also recently saw a video from Michael in the Margins, and he shared a video about keeping a journal of witness. He talked about how he was finding it challenging to engage in his love for journaling, and therefore decided to get a separate book to document some of the things that he's witnessing around him. I really love his approach. I love that he has compartmentalized it a little bit, but also created a container or a space to do some of that processing, because there's just a lot going on. And as someone who tends to ruminate, I love the idea of almost time boxing it. So I think he said it takes him maybe a few minutes to complete a page. And I think that can be that space where you dedicate that amount of time to process whatever you need to process for that day, and then hopefully be able to move on with your daily life. Not to say that it's not important anymore, but just so that you can kind of hold space for both. So I'll link his video below. I highly recommend watching it. I found it very comforting. And at the end, he reads a poem that he wrote, and it is beautifully devastating poem. Other days when I don't feel like journaling, because sometimes I don't feel like writing anymore, I think there are other things that can help ground us and give us a space to, I guess, create space from how we're feeling. So that could be decorating a page with stickers that make me smile. Could be swatching inks, which I think I'm in the mood to do today. Basically just engaging in things that keep you in the present moment and interrupts our fears for the future or feelings about what has happened or what's in the past. Again, not to say that those things are important, but just giving ourselves an opportunity to take a pause. And I did read that doom scrolling and negative news can be a source of vicariously experienced trauma. So I think that kind of, to me, underscores the importance of really creating that space to process it, because the way that we work through trauma is we find safe ways to process it. So I think these tiny acts of care can be an opportunity to help me reset and give me some space so I can go back to my life. I can support my clients. I can support people around me and be able to continue functioning as a human. Yeah, so there's no agenda really for today's video. I just thought we could stay together at the desk. I think the first thing I'm going to do is what I said I would do in my last video, which is I'm going to try to attach this charm to my MeePlus cover. I've got a couple of these pliers and I got some of these clips, and it will hopefully be a nice quick win to give me a feeling of accomplishment. There. So that's my little charm. Okay, so next, it's time to switch out my journal, my long form journal insert, especially as I've been writing a lot. I've now completed this one, and I already started this one, but I'm gonna move it in. So I think before we do the switch, I might do a little bit of decorating now, because otherwise I will probably use this insert and not decorate it until it's almost done. This insert is a Paper Penguin Co. My friend Wendy Sue actually helped me get these inserts because they don't ship to Canada, and it's a new to me kind of paper called I don't know how to pronounce this. I'll just show you. Shiraioi. So I'm thinking, not sure how I'm gonna decorate it, but I grabbed a few things. One is this really cute sticker sheet that I got from Nicole Josephine. Also got these cute little like label stickers. These papers that I got from Japan. I also have these ones. I got these in Japan as well. And I was thinking possibly I could use some of these or one of these to help decorate. I was thinking maybe, I kind of like this one, these faces. Yeah, maybe I'll do something like that. I have this washi. It's like a brown washi. I don't love the color of this. I don't really love the cover of this, so one option could be I could try to warm it up with this washi. Of course, I have a couple of these, so I don't know if this would really go. I don't really think so. And these are kind of similar colors, but I'm not sure. I just held this up to my little passport insert to see how I felt about it, and I actually really like this. So unplanned, but I think I'm just gonna put this on here. I'm a little worried it won't stick, but I guess I can update you. I also have this washi that Wonder Pens gave me, and I think I'm just going to add this as a bit of a border. I think this is good as a starting point. Okay, I'm going to use these letter stickers. Hopefully I have enough. I'm just going to go for it and worry about it if I don't. This is my notebook for now. So as for this one, I found some of these papers that I got a while ago, and I'm wondering if maybe I could do something like that to cover it up. Perhaps I could use some of this blue. Yeah, I think I'm going to use some of this. So I have two of these that I think I'll just kind of use side by side. There's also kind of stuff like this. stop now, and I think if I have time after, I will come back. I just finished my meetings for the day, and I've decided that I want to do a little more ink swatching before the sun goes down. So today I'm going to be swatching a number of beautiful inks that Moonlit Journal sent to me recently. She sent me the most beautiful package, and I actually took a photo of it and put it in my 5-year journal already. So I'm going to do a little assembly line, and I'm going to swatch the inks on my favorite MD paper, this Tomoe River paper in my Hobonichi grade notebook, and then this is the older Tomoe River paper that I'm going to be swatching the ink samples as well in my 5-year. I've got my little condiment cup that was given to me by Leanne from Leanne Likes. I've got my ink muddler that was gifted to me by my friend Wendy Sue. I've got this ink sample stabilizer that was gifted to me from Fountain Pendulum. And I've got my Kakimori brass nib that was gifted to me by me. As I'm looking at my ink implements, I'm feeling very grateful for having been so kindly gifted with most of the things in front of me. I don't take it for granted. Anyone who's part of the stationery community knows how wonderful and generous it is, and I feel very lucky to be part of it and to have had some amazing things sent to me from others in the community. So with that, I am going to get started. Let's start with Monte Verde Moonstone. And there's no rhyme or reason as to how I'm going to be adding this to the page. I'm just going to put things where I feel like it and try to stay in the moment. Right away I'm noticing how beautiful this brown is. I think sometimes when I see it on videos it almost looks gray, like has a grayish tone, but in person it's this beautiful brown. And I always I tend to think that I'm more of a warm brown toned fan, but actually this color is really beautiful. And one thing that I've noticed is that brown inks tend to look especially beautiful on cream paper, so I'm really excited to see how this looks on this MD paper. So beautiful. I don't know if you can see this, but it's very warm and vibrant on this paper, and it looks a little flat actually as it dries on this paper, so I find that very interesting. One thing I'm noticing is that it is feathering quite a bit on this paper, but this is I'm pretty sure this is the bad batch of Tomoe River paper, so I guess I'm not surprised. Okay, next we're going to do another Monte Verde ink. This is Pumpkin Cake, and from what I could see of this color, I believe it's a very beautiful shader, so I'm excited to see how this looks. Oh, okay. It's a little darker than I was expecting, actually, which is not a bad thing. Next we have Kobe Kikumasa Burgundy. Ooh, this is a beautiful color. It's a little more purple than I was expecting, but I'm not complaining. Oh, wow. You can see in this on this empty paper a bit of a gold green sheen with this ink. It's so beautiful. And unfortunately, you can't really see it in this Toy My River paper, which is a little bit sad. Next, we've got Birmingham Penco Chrysanthemum. Oh, you know what? I thought this was more of a pink, but it's coming out as more of like a purpley brownie pink. I don't know why I thought this was more of a pink. Now it's kind of seeming more like a purple to me. Next we have Sailor Shikiori Komukuza. Okay. So it's more like a dark teal. Next is Sailor Shikiori Yonaga. Oh. Whoops. That's probably going to bleed through. Maybe too much ink. I guess this is like maybe a blue-black. So next we have Sailor Shikiori Fuji Sugata. Ooh, it's very different to Chrysanthemum. It's a much more vibrant purple from what I can see. I really like how vibrant this color is. I feel like doing a really big area to see what kind of shading, if any, that comes out. I'm going to use up this whole sample. Okay, next we have Kobe Hime Ajisai. Okay, it's hard to tell what this is because all of these are kind of blending together, but I think at first glance these two look very similar, so I'm curious to see how they look in the individual swatches. Next we have Sailor Yurameku Kongyo. Ooh, it's like a gray base color, but with some purple undertones. Oh wow, okay, as this is drying, I'm seeing some green as well. This is such a beautiful color. Oh, you can see it on this paper too. This is why I love Sailor inks so much. Last one is Sailor Yurameku Hana Gokuro. we are done. I'm gonna let this dry and I will come back and share how these look once everything is dry. These colors are absolutely stunning. Thank you so much, Moonlit Journal, if you're watching this. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful collection with me. It is a little bit later in the day. The sun is going to be setting soon, but I thought I would show you how everything's looking, and if it's too hard to see, then I'll refilm this tomorrow. Let's start with the Hobonichi grid. I'm pretty sure it's not the greatest sands and paper, but this is what it looks like. I'm just going to do a close-up. So you can see that some of the colors did show some shading. Monteverde pumpkin cake did not show any shading at all, and you can see that the moonstone actually had a bit of feathering. So most of the colors ended up looking a little flat, but you can still see a little bit of the chroma shading in Sailor Urameku Kongyo, and I'm so excited to ink that into a pen. And also Chrysanthemum has a little bit, and so does the Sailor Shikiori Fuji Sukata and Kobe Hime Ajisai. So such gorgeous inks. This is what they look like in the blob format. And then compared to that is the MD paper, and I honestly think this just shows the colors. They just make the colors look even more vibrant, in my opinion. So you can see in the Monteverde, there's a little bit of shading, but I guess it's a pretty saturated ink. And also, this was using my Kakemori dip pen, and that tends to be a little more saturated, so this probably isn't the best representation of how these inks will look in a pen. So I'll share some updates when I ink them up. Yeah, just absolutely beautiful colors. I think this one is Kobe Hime Ajisai, and it's just so beautiful and so stunning. And then this one is Sailor Shikiori Fuji Sukata, and I just love how bright and vibrant it is. And then we've got this Sailor Urameku Kongyo, which is such an interesting color. It kind of looks like it's a gray, but there's definitely a lot of other colors going on. Like there's pink, there's a bit of green. I just love chroma shaders like this so much. I think it just makes writing so much more interesting. And I think Moonstone looks a lot better on cream paper compared to how it looks on this white paper. So that's in the bottom corner there, that's Moonstone, and then that's Moonstone. So I think it just looks so much better. I also have the colors on the older Tomoe River paper. So this is from 2023. So this is before they switched to Sanzen. So this is cream Tomoe River paper in the Hobonichi 5-year. And that's how these colors look on here. So just, yeah, absolutely love these inks. Thank you again, Moonlit Journal. Yeah, I can't wait to ink them up. And I actually do have one more thing to show you. Because I like to be thorough, I also inked these up in my Pilot Iro Utsushi dip pen, because I think that might show how that might be a better representation of how these would look like in a pen. So that's what they look like in my Midori Hibino. This is just a writing sample of Sailor Urameku Kongyo, so it does look a little bit less vibrant, I think, compared to like the darker swatch, but you can see there's really lovely shading when you write with it, and yeah, I am in love. Let me know if you have any questions, but I had a really nice time spending time with these ink samples and just decompressing a little bit. I hope if you did join me today, you were able to maybe play with your stationery or maybe do some journaling. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I know things are really tough right now and there's a lot going on. So let me know how you've been coping with everything that's been going on. Let me know what's been keeping you grounded. Just in case you made it all the way to the end of this video, I also wanted to share a very quick InCoWriMo update. I was absolutely floored by how many of you signed up for a letter. I received over 80 submissions in a couple of days, and I know I said that I was only going to commit to 28 letters, but I think we could all use a little bit of joy right now, and writing letters to you brings me a lot of joy, and hopefully receiving something in your mailbox that isn't a bill or a flyer will bring you some joy as well. So I am going to try to write back to everyone that signed up for a letter, but it's not going to happen all in the month of February. So I'm thinking that I will probably commit to at least 28 letters in the month of February, and then I will take a few extra months to write back to everyone else. I hope that's okay. That does mean that I will hang on to your addresses a little while longer. So if you're not comfortable with me having your address for longer than the period I promised, which was about a month after InCoWriMo ended, so like March 1st, then please email me. I will delete your information. Otherwise, hang tight. I am going to try my best to write everyone a letter who signed up, and it's going to happen this year. So I will keep you updated either in my videos or on my Patreon. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're still here, thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye.